In this video, I'll demonstrate how to customize the fields that you work with in the tool. So if I open up the tool again, you'll see that I'm still using the current fields, or the basic set of fields that I began with. And if I click the Edit Fields button, it opens up this screen and shows me all those fields and gives me other options to either load other schemas or add individual fields if I want to. So let's say I want to load all of the IPTC fields. So I'm going to begin by coming down here and clearing out all these fields. And I'm doing that, clearing that Clear All button, because if I don't, as I add new fields, they'll be added to the bottom of that list I already had. So I'll probably get some duplicates. So I'm going to start with a fresh screen here, clear all, and then I'll still have file name. It has always got to be the top field that you always have to have, because that's how it matches to the file. So that'll stay there. And let's say I want to add, before I did basic, now I'm going to do IPTC Core, which gives me all of the IPTC fields here. You can see it's quite a bit longer. And if I click Save, that'll now become the fields that I export. But if I want to do some more customization, I'll click the Edit Fields button again, and I'll go in and let's say there are some fields here that I really don't want to use. So I'll scroll down. I don't want to use subject code, for instance, so I'll click that once and then click the Delete button, and that'll go away. I'm not going to use intellectual genre or scene code. So now my list is a little short. So you could keep going and subtracting any fields that you don't want. That way you're working with a smaller spreadsheet of only the fields that you're going to use. Another thing you can do is rearrange the order of these fields. So the order that they are on this list is the order they will be in your spreadsheet from left to right. So for instance, file name will be column A, which it always has to be. Oops. File folder, column B, IPTC creator, column C, and so on and so forth. But let's say, for instance, that I wanted to move some of these around a little bit, like title. If I wanted title to be my first field, I'm going to just highlight that, and then click the Move Up button until it gets up to be where I want it to be. So now it'll be the first one after my folder column. By the way, if you try to move a column up all the way to the top, you'll get this alert, this warning that tells you that file name has to be the top column. So I'll just move title back down into the third spot. Again, this way you can set up this will give you a spreadsheet that's set up with the columns you want and the order you want. And then when you're done, you can click Save. So I'm going to put IPTC Core Modified. You can name it anything you like. Another thing you can do is change the name, the label for the file. And this is what will be the label for the column header on your spreadsheet. So let's say in my case, I want to use the label artist. I'm sorry, for creator, I want it to be artist. So I double clicked the creator line, and now I'm going to change that to be artist. You'll notice that in this screen, to edit the field details, the only thing I can change in this is the label. That's because it comes from IPTC, and all the other aspects of it are restricted or controlled. You want to do that so that your metadata is interoperable with all other IPTC metadata. But what you can change is this label, which again is what will be the column header name when you run your export. So I'll save that, and you can see now it says artist. Another thing you can do is to add fields to this. So let's say, for instance, I've got this, but I want to add a couple other things. So I'm going to select the title field, IPC title, but I want to go and select something from the VRA Core schema, which is the Visual Resources Association, and it's a schema designed for cataloging artwork. So I selected VRA Core. Now I can go to this drop down, and these are all the fields that are available. So I'm going to select the VRA work title, and I'm going to leave that as work title. Actually, I'm going to change it to artwork file just so it's a little bit easier to see. And you'll see it automatically pre-populates the namespace, which is something that you can't change. the property, and the property type. So those are all pre-done. All I really have to decide is which one I want to use and what I want to call it. And when I'm happy with that, I click the Add button, and you can see what it did. It inserted VRA work title right below IPTC title. I'm doing that because the IPTC title might be the title of the photograph itself, which would be different from the title of an artwork. So yeah, you can go down a rabbit hole with these things, but this allows you to customize it to whatever your local practice is and how you've got your database set up. So you could continue adding additional fields from VRA, or you could add some fields from Dublin Core that maybe aren't in IPTC. These are different Dublin Core fields you could add. And again, when you add them, you can select what you want to call that field in your spreadsheet, and then you just click the Add button to add it. And then when you're done with that, again, do another save. I'm going to call this IPTC Core and VRA. Okay, and as you can see now, that's the fields that would be exported here. Again, going back into the Edit Field screen, you can see that it remembers this for the next time. So you can set these up ahead of time. You can even share them with colleagues. You can get to the folder by clicking this Manage button, and these are all the files that determine those fields. So you could copy and paste these into another user's folder of this. If you just follow this path here, you could copy and paste these and share them among other team members if you wanted to. Another option is when you open it, and if you wanted to change from the one you've currently got set, let's say you've saved several others, which I just did. If I want to go back to just plain IPTC Core, or even all the way back to basic, I just click on that, click OK, and now it reloads my basic fields. So you can switch these for different jobs. Key thing again, remembering if you do this, if you have more than one and you're going to run an import or export, make sure your import spreadsheet is set up with the exact same names. That's a key thing to do when you're customizing your thing. I think in a lot of cases you may just customize this once or maybe twice and just keep using it in that way, but you can do more than that. Very quickly, one other thing you can do, if you want to do a custom field from a schema that isn't one of these, you want to do your own, like if you've developed your own XMP schema, you can do that by selecting Custom, put in your label, enter your namespace, your XMP property name, and the XMP type, which would be one of these. This is a little bit higher level, more sort of expert thing, but if you're familiar with XMP and you've already got custom fields you've defined locally, you can plug them in manually here and save them and then use them with that data. So that's all. I hope this is helpful, and happy exporting and importing.